Okay, well, let's start over. Good morning, everybody. Something woke me up at 5:30 this morning outside, and I went out, and there was this incredible, beautiful crystal sky shining down, and a beautiful clear sky, which is still there this morning. So it's just the most beautiful day. So thank you for joining us this morning. I know we've been having some sound issues over the last few Sundays. I believe we have those sorted. We'll find out, I guess. And I'm joined this morning again by Claire Palmerino. So I'm going to invite Claire to light the Christ candle for us.
Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to act as platform assistant this morning. In the beginning was the one presence of the undivided and unmanifest, pure spirit of life, light, and love. In its generosity, it shared itself, its consciousness, and its love in the visible form of creation. We acknowledge this presence within us and as us, the creative energy of the divine, feminine, and masculine, expressing in all our giftedness and creativity. We acknowledge this presence in our companion, Mother Earth, and in all sentient beings. This universal presence in everything we call the Christ. We light this candle as a visible reminder of that Christ presence, expressing in, as, and through us in this present now moment. It is the truth. Let us own it. I should have practiced the lighting part.
Many hands make life work.
Thank you, Reverend Jerry.
And thank you, Claire. As always, we start off with a piece of music. And our theme for the day is Electing Our World. And our opening song is I Am Free, I Am Unlimited, which is sung by Aaron McGuckin from Seattle Unity. And as you know, this is a really upbeat version. So take it away, Aaron, please.
Welcome to Seattle Unity. Please join us in a call to worship. This is actually from our hymnal. Stand up. The way we do it is potentially a little different from how it was done originally in 1982. I am free, I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free, I am unlimited right now, right now. I am free, I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free, I am unlimited right now. I am free, I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I
So we do open to the presence, the power, and the activity of God. So let's affirm our opening statement together. There is but one presence and one power in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotence.
All right. Because we are truly free and unlimited. This next verse, we're not going to sing the lyrics. We're just going to sing scat. We're going to sing like shooby dooby. What is the scat? Scat lingo. Scat. Sweet one. Shooby doo shooby boo boo. And some of you know how to do this and you've done it before and you're very confident. And some of you haven't done it before and you're not very confident, and there are good reasons for that. I want you to do it anyway. I want you to jump in because everybody's doing it, and even if we crash this whole church, no one will die. 1, 2, here we go.
That should have gotten the juices flowing. And today we're going to be talking again about one of the principles that Unity really focuses on. One of the universal laws regarding our power of creation and what I'm called election. In her book, 5 Principles, Ellen Davenport writes, by the same token, focusing on whatever we dislike empowers it. This explains self-fulfilling prophecies. We predict something bad will happen and it does. What we focus on grows, whether our focus is positive or negative. For example, leaders are elected physically with our votes, but metaphysically through our collective consciousness. Suppose candidate A and B are running for President of the United States. Half of the country is voting for A. The other half not only supports B instead, but despises A. The poll says it's a toss-up, but candidate A will take office because of the tremendous emotional focus on him or her. Both sides are choosing candidate A with their attention and emotion. Both are providing energetic support for A whether they go into the voting booth or not. Half are creating the outcome they want, while half are creating what they don't want through their fear, resistance, and negativity. As we learned in Principle 3 of our 5 principles, we create either way, through positive and negative vibration. We create by thought, emotion, focus, and energy. That's from page 119. And that's a book that is in our bookstore, The 5 Principles by Unity Minister Ellen Davenport. And for me, this is no time in our nation's history, or indeed in New Thought, for sitting on the sidelines. And I found Ellen's passage a great reminder that it matters whether I put my focus on what I want or what I don't want, and what actions I take. I want my focus and energy to be in alignment with what I want, not with what I don't want. Some days this is easier than others, but I continue to utilize the political field and everything that's going on in it to practice how I use my voice and choice for good. So I found Ellen's insight regarding the teaching really helpful, and I thought you might as well, and so I wanted to share it with you this morning. And so now at this time, Claire is going to read the daily word for us.
Good morning again. The daily word for today is prosperity. I am prosperous as I enjoy my daily blessings. I am comfortable with the person I see in the mirror as I begin my day. I am filled with energy and enthusiasm for my work, my recreation, time with family and friends, or time for learning and reflection. My gratitude grows throughout the day as I take part in activities I enjoy and spend time with people I care about. As I prepare for sleep, I am grateful for the blessings of a day well lived. More than money or possessions, prosperity is an awareness of well-being, my ability to enjoy simple blessings. I strengthen my prosperity consciousness as I bless and appreciate my home, my friends and family, and my work. I increase the flow of abundance by sharing my time, talents, and treasures in service to others. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord my whole life long. Psalm 23, verse 6.
Thank you, Claire. And we come to the time of prayer in our service. I guess we didn't pray strongly enough last week for rain. So I invite us again to start out by praying rain. There was the smell of rain at one point late last night, so I know it was raining somewhere. But once again, we just visualize those clouds, rain clouds coming our way, and the rain falling plentifully from the sky, soaking the trees, the plants, the soil, and indeed ourselves. And we can feel the relief of that beautiful, wonderful rain. We have many requests for prayer this morning. And as always, we continue to pray for Sean as he undergoes his cancer treatment, and we see him whole and healthy. We pray also for Sandy Good. I really don't know anything about the prayer request other than the name. Likewise, we pray for Keith Malley, for Star, Jordan, Elena, and Mallory. Perhaps they're needing prayer as they continue to grieve the loss of Diana. We continue to pray for Pat Lynn Kyle, whose sister passed away last week. And we pray too for David's sister, Pat Mineth, who is in hospice. We pray a special blessing for Claire Palmerino as she celebrated her birthday yesterday. We continue to pray for all of those firefighters and support people who are battling the fires still in our state and elsewhere. We take a moment to pray for all those who we would like to include in prayer this morning. And I invite you to pray with me. There is only one presence and one power, active as the universe and as our lives, the all-loving goodness of God, and all is well. And so this morning we have Claire with us once again, and she is going to share the meditation with us.
Well, this morning we're going to do a very simple meditation, but I hope that it strikes a chord in you and it's one that you can readily remember and utilize on your own. So I'm going to ask you to put your hands in the kind of classic prayer position. I learned over the past few days that this is actually a prayer technology. Your thumbs rest up against your sternum, and by placing palm to palm, you're balancing the left and right brain. You're bringing into balance the feminine and the masculine. And this brings us into a place of neutrality. So I invite you to leave your hands in this position for as long as it's comfortable. If it begins to be tiresome, you're welcome to put your hands in your lap. So let us close our eyes and bring the focus to the breath. This serves the purpose of centering and bringing us into the now moment. And let us ground ourselves by bringing our attention to the bottoms of our feet. And imagining in a playful, lighthearted way, roots growing down into the earth. Feeling the roots branch and deepen, deepen and branch. Going into the very heart of our Mother Earth. Now I'd like you to imagine a tube that runs through the center of your body. From the bottom of your spine to the crown of your head. And imagine that that tube extends down into the very heart of the earth. So this grounds us again. And now we invite the Mother Earth energy to come up that tube, up into our bodies and up to our heart. Mother Earth gladly sends her love to us. She nourishes us. She comforts us. Indeed, she is aware of us. So let that beautiful reddish brown Mother Earth energy flow into your body and out your heart. With your in-breath, let it flow in, and with your out-breath, extend it out from your heart. And now bring your attention to the crown of your head and imagine the white light, the light of the cosmos, the Christ light, the Magdalene light, flowing down from the cosmos through that tube and into your heart. With the in-breath, we feel the light flow in, and with the out-breath, we let it extend out from our heart, giving to the world this beautiful light. And as we set the intention to be connectors, to be the bridge between heaven and earth. We also set the intention that we are in service to Mother Earth, to Father Sky, that we are love and we are light. And we bless all those around us. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. I'll turn it over to Reverend Jerry.
Well, we are blessed by you and by all those who do these incredible meditations for us. Thank you. And I mean that sincerely. We're a wonderful spiritual community with so many gifted people. So we have a song now to take us on to the next part of our service. It's by Denise Rossier, and it's called One Heart.
Our source, our strength. We honor it with each breath we take. One heart, one mind, one power. In the name of love. In the name of love. I'll tear down the walls. We'll make a world that works for all. One heart, one mind, one power. In the name of love. In the name of love.
So, as I mentioned earlier, my talk today is called Electing Our World. And Claire was sharing with us about the tube of light that is within us all. And it's not just within, but in a sense, we are within the tube of light also. And it's a wonderful thing, again, to just be aware of the fact that this light is all pervasive. It's all around us and it's within us. And that to think that we say that people go to the light, well, doesn't that mean that they go within us because we are the light? Just something to think about. Anyway, so when I was a small child of about 4 or 5, playing by myself in the garden around our house, I amused myself every day. We lived about a mile out in the country, and I was the only young child living on the road. And I was perfectly content to play by myself using my great imagination. That's how I developed my imagination, I guess. And I would see cities and roads as I played with my little toy cars around my mother's flower beds. Until one summer day, when a boy 1 year younger than me showed up next door on the farm. His granduncle, my next door neighbor, farmer, rode his donkey and cart to town with the churns of milk each day. And when he returned this one day, this boy was with him on the cart. The boy arrived down at my house and wanted to know if I wanted to play. His name was Desi. Well, we had a blast. And I formed my first real friendship and was deeply attached to that friendship. And so my life changed dramatically, as you can imagine. Each day I would wait with expectancy for the donkey and cart to arrive back from town. Some days he wasn't on board. I was devastated. Some days he was on board, but he didn't come down to play. I was even more heartbroken. And so my inner peace was now dependent on someone else, on an outside source. And I was at the mercy of chance, it felt like. It was a roller coaster ride each day in the summer. So this memory came back to me the other day, and it made me ponder the outcome and aftermath of the election. And I asked myself, how am I going to feel after the election? And of course, that felt like a loaded question because how I would feel was dependent upon the result of the election, right? And then it hit me like a ton of bricks that I was setting myself up based on my hopes and dreams and expectations and desires. I was possibly laying a trap for myself to feel like a victim based on something outside of myself once again. Abdicating my power, if you will, just like I did as a little boy, hoping for Desi to show up and being bitterly disappointed when he didn't. Surely, how I would feel should be based on my own inner vision and ability to influence a world that matches my highest desires. So right there and then, I resolved that I'm going to be as determined to bring about a world that works for all, whichever way the election turns out. I'm going to continue to be optimistic. I'm going to keep on holding a high vision for myself and for all people, as well as the planet. Why, you might ask? Because the stuff that I'm made of, spirit, is undeterred by setbacks, and it is invincible. It was sent here to bring about a certain purpose. Certain as in something that will happen. Oh yes, it certainly will, because the will of God cannot ultimately be thwarted. And certain as in a certain or particular vibration of good and level of consciousness. The world can make all the attempts it wants to inhibit or prevent that certainty unfolding, but Spirit has already laid the way forward for its fulfillment, because in the end, we know love always triumphs. Love has already won. And I intend to be on the side of love and be a winning lover. I mean, what's the point of this life otherwise? Hate, division? That's not what any of us are about. or want our legacy to be. We learn in Unity not to stumble our way into the future, but instead to utilize our God-given power. Actually, the power that is God itself, to bring about what we envision through observation, intention, and shedding the light of our loving hearts upon. So I want you to listen to a couple of minutes of Greg Braden talking about how creation occurs. Having a little issue here with PowerPoint, with
We
Zoom.
have to reach in there, so the old word observer simply has to be crossed off in the new word participator, end of quote. Consciousness creates. With Wheeler's words, what a shift in perspective. In a radically different interpretation of our relationship to our bodies and the world around us, Wheeler is telling us that it's impossible for us to simply watch the world happen around us. From his interpretation of the data, he's telling us that we are what's making the world happen. We are the change makers, sometimes consciously and sometimes subconsciously. We're constantly participating, interacting with the field in the outcome of the things that happen in our lives and in our world. Experiments in quantum physics do show, in fact, that the act of us looking at something as tiny as an electron, just by focusing our awareness upon what that tiny electron is doing for even an instant in time, actually changes the electron's properties during the time that we're looking. These experiments suggest that the very act of observation is an act of creation. I'm going to repeat that one more time. The experiments suggest that the very act of observation, the act of human observation, is an act of creation, and that consciousness is what's doing the creating. Well, these findings seem to support Wheeler's statement that we can no longer think of ourselves merely as onlookers who have no effect on the world that we are observing. When we look at the everyday expression of our spiritual and material abundance, our relationships, careers, and physical health, our deepest loves and our greatest achievements, as well as our fears and the lack of all of these things, we may, in fact, be looking squarely at the mirror of our truest and sometimes most unconscious beliefs. We see them in our surroundings because they are made manifest through the field of energy that exists everywhere at all times and connects all things and us. We are the artists as well as the art. Now we know that there's a universal field of energy that permeates and connects all things. We also know that we are the field. The atoms of our body are constantly appearing and disappearing, emerging from the field and collapsing back into the field, following the blueprint provided by our consciousness to produce our bodies and the personalities that we're familiar with. In other words, we are artists, expressing our deepest passions and our greatest fears and our desires through the living essence of a mysterious quantum canvas. But unlike a conventional artist canvas, which exists in one place at a given time, our canvas is the same stuff that everything else is made of. It exists everywhere. It's always present. And while artists are traditionally thought of as separate from their artwork, within the field that is the source of all things, the separation between art and artist disappears. We are the canvas as well as the images upon the canvas. We are the art as well as the artist. Just as artists work and refine an image until it's just right in their minds, we appear to do the same thing with the relationships of our lives. Through our palette of beliefs and judgments and emotions, we experience the relationships that allow us to perfect our canvas of life. Just the way an artist uses the same canvas again and again while searching for the perfect expression of an idea, we may think of ourselves as perpetual artists, building a creation that is ever changing and never ending.
Okay, so I understand that there was a little issue at the beginning, so I'm just going to play the start of it again. Maybe. Seems like the gremlins are really working overtime this morning.
We have to reach in there, so the old word observer simply has to be crossed off the books, and we must put in the new word participator, end of quote. Consciousness creates. With Wheeler's words, what a shift in perspective. In a radically different interpretation of our relationship to our bodies and the world around us, Wheeler is telling us that it's impossible for us to simply watch the world happen around us. From his interpretation of the data, he's telling us that we are what's making the world happen. We are the change makers, sometimes consciously and sometimes subconsciously. We're constantly participating, interacting with the field in the outcome of the things that happen in our lives and in our world. Experiments in quantum physics do show, in fact, that the act of us looking at something as tiny as an electron, just by focusing our awareness upon what that tiny electron is doing for even an instant in time, actually changes the electron's properties during the time that we're looking. This experience suggests that the very act of observation is an act of creation. I'm going to repeat that one more time. The experiments suggest that the very act of observation, the act of observation, is an act of creation. That consciousness is what's doing the creating.
Okay. It's very powerful, very powerful statement there from quantum physics, really. So we are part of that field of universal energy that connects and influences all things, including our national elections. And at some level, everything that has been exposed and brought into light over the past 4 years, everything that has happened is in response to our consciousness, to our hopes and dreams and intentions and desires. And we tend to forget that the divine is always creating through us and always working towards the ultimate goal of the elevation of consciousness, and that ultimately it brings about our heart's desires. But evolution and progress are not always linear, as we know. Sometimes there are wrinkles in the field, as the quantum scientists say. There are disturbances, there are setbacks. But like he says, creation is like an artist, united with the paints, the canvas, and the creative process. It is all one thing, one consciousness, a unified field of creation. You know, if you ever talk to an artist, you talk to Angela Apostel, she will tell you that there's a time when you sort of go outside your body almost, or you go into a different space and you become one with the brush and with the canvas. And that's when the most creativity takes place. And so what he's saying is that we are all doing that every day with our thoughts and our consciousness and our actions. We must take responsibility for what we are seeing happening in our world because it reflects our inner turmoil and division. The external is but a mirror for the internal. The communal is but a reflection of the personal. And what we are really trying to change is not the world out there, but our own consciousness, our own hearts. The divide, the violence, the prejudice, and the split is not out there. It's in here, in us. Because we keep deciding that we like these people, we don't like those people. We want to be in with this crowd, but we don't want to be in with that crowd. And so the outcome of the election is not as relevant as the state of our own souls and hearts. I know that's a big statement. Fortunately, that is within our own control and power to bring about a change. And it's all too easy to get distracted and look outside and focus on changing all of that. It's a great distraction from changing what needs to be changed within. And in the last several weeks and months, I have been using all of this political input and whatever you want to call it as fodder for spiritual practice, for my spiritual practice each day. You know, whatever I'm seeing, whatever I'm observing, somehow changing that and seeing what I really want to see, looking and visioning what I really want to see. And that's the gift that we all have, that we can all utilize. We can elect our world or choose our experience of it and improve its vibe by focusing on our own hearts primarily. That's something we get to vote on every day, hundreds of times a day. We get to vote. No one takes that vote from us except ourselves. The choice is ours to wake up to what's really going on, to really see how creation is always taking place from within, or we can keep giving our energy and our inner peace away like little Jerry did. And we do that now to the monster, the despicable projections out there, whether it's a family member, a neighbor, or a politician. And it's an easy scapegoat that keeps us stuck in our fear and anger. So post-election isn't about being a winner or a loser in the political sense. It's about seeing through the game of it all and choosing love now before the result is in. Because in the end, there is only one result. There is only one end. Love wins. So we have our power statement, our power words for October. And this certainly fits today, doesn't it? What a beautiful day it is. Nature's beauty reflects my own true nature. So let's just take a moment to, if you can look out the window and look at nature and you say, wow, how beautiful that is. And just realize for a moment that that is your nature too. So we now have our prosperity affirmation, our love offering. Divine Beloved, allow me to give with complete ease and abundance, knowing that together we are the unlimited source of all. Let me be an easy, open conduit for our prosperity. Let me trust that all my needs are always met in amazing ways, and that it is safe to give freely as my heart guides. And equally, let me feel as wildly open to receive as to give, so that our light can shine without restriction. I played this last week, and I know every Sunday there are different people who attend, and I thought, I don't want people to miss this. This is a song by Kieran Good and Stowe Daly. It's a song we're all familiar with, America the Beautiful, and that's the first verse is the traditional verse, but then they've written the special verse for the times that we live in.
so beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful second verse that talks about the great divide and asking the divine, but we're asking ourselves, aren't we, to heal that divide. And again, we do have a book, Me and White Supremacy, which has a 28-day action to overcome racism. So if you're interested in that, please pay us a visit at the bookstore. Had my first Qigong class last Wednesday morning, and I've had several people tell me that they totally forgot about it. So no problem, join us again. If you've never done Qigong, I would encourage you to come and on Zoom, just try it out. It's a very easy, gentle exercise, but it is wonderful and it's amazing. It stretches all of your muscles and all of your bones, so it's really good. I mean, I find that I have so much more energy since I started doing it. So join us next Wednesday morning at 8:30. Again, I'll be going into more of the wisdom codes with Greg Braden on Tuesday at 10 a.m. And as always, if we have any sort of emergency locally, know that you can always call us and you can come here to the center. Our social groups continues to meet at 9:30, and we had a few more people this last Thursday. So again, please feel free to join in. Okay, that was last Friday night. Okay, and here's just a little recap of last weekend's 20th anniversary celebration. There's your compere. I said I'm ready for the Oscars now. And some people were very creative. As we see, Jay and Claire had We Love Unity in the Gold Country in their screensaver in the background. And then there's some shots of various people who are in attendance. And we did have an award called the Light of Christ Expressing Award, which was given to Dennis Casella, to Carolyn and Larry Holman, to Claudia and John Martin. So I just want you to, again, to know about that. And again, over the next few weeks, contribute to discourse, not division. Check your facts, resist memes and cheap digs, create beautiful content. We can transcend the bitterness and be better, even when we disagree. All right, so here's our anthem for the times that we live in. I choose love.
Peace in my life is growing because I choose love. Love's always present, it's what I'm made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one tie that binds us, that can't be undone. I choose love. Peace in my family is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I
Yes, indeed. And so we close with our unity prayer. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, because I am, and all is well. So, thank you all for